The biggest question that I have is why does biblical masculinity seem to be, or even just Christianity in general, seem to be so weak and timid and cowardly and passive these days?
I think we've got a few answers to that, but the first one that I would throw up is we have no clearly defined vision of male sexuality. So when you demasculate a man to the point where he can't engage with his sex drive without feeling shame or guilt, you have cornered him to be, you have really damned him to be more in the feminine role of what it means to be sexual, to be we could even use the word aggressive because aggression is out. You can't be aggressive because any form of aggression is violence, which is not true. Patriarchy is a form of dysfunction. It has nothing to do with the reality of the kingship that a man's supposed to walk in. And then when you walk into church, you have feminized worship with feminized language with men who are dysfunctional sexually. So when you throw all that into a blender and invite a man to seek God in the midst of a community with that much dysfunction, you're going to end up with a man that does not know his position and does not know his identity, both in Christ and in himself.
That's a lot.
I'm just going to throw it all out there. You asked a big question.
I know,
and
man,
we'll just pull it apart.
I'm like, hold on. I'm like taking notes. I'm like, slow down. I can't stay up with all this. There is one thing, I don't know if I heard correctly, so help me understand. You talked about patriarchy not being something. I didn't quite hear what you said, but I had to question it when I heard it.
Right. Well, so men go first. That's the rule. The rule of thumb is men go first. They are responsible. They bear the weight, both in culture and in the home. That we can make the list of that. Men go first, but we've made men go first in systems and structures. But that's not actually what Christianity teaches and what it says. Men go first in service and sacrifice. When they do that well, they can be trusted with systems and structures. And when men are only trusted with systems and structures, but have no ability to serve and sacrifice appropriately, that's how you end up with patriarchy.
So if I understand what you're saying, let me just kind of wrap my head around this, because this is a kind of a new concept for me. Not the idea that men go first and men are best in positions of service. We talk about protect, provide, preside as being the core foundation of what it means to be a man. All of those have an element of service. But what I'm hearing you say is that without that ability or desire or knowledge to lead in service, you have, and these are my own terms, so correct me if I'm misunderstanding you, corrupted leadership. That's what I'm hearing you say.
That's exactly right. Right. Well, you have uninitiated men. So in initiation, tribal initiation, rites of passage would teach a man who he is, where his tribe is, and what to do with his pain. Right. So there's this proper act of service where a man is humbled by the time he's 10, 11, 12, 13, in that age. That initiatory status would put him in a place of submission and service to other men and the community he comes from in such a way that he knows his primary act as a man is to serve the culture he came from. So then as he grows in his authority, he grows in his strength, he grows in his ability, he then leverages that knowledge, that wisdom, that strength in service to others, not in service to himself.